So, Ken, everyone good?
Yeah.
Any changes from last week's win?
No, we'll go in unchanged and look forward to the opportunity to give those boys their chance to play again.
Is there anything that could tempt you to changes?
No, look, I suppose there is. I mean, the weather forecast is predicting quite a bit of rain, so whether that comes, I sit there sometimes think it's going to rain, it doesn't rain. So look, I don't think so. I think it'll change our minds.
Take 3 emergencies?
Yes, yeah, we will.
So Stewart replaces Hitchcock as an emergency?
Yes, yeah, we've got. I mean, Stewart's, he's one of our more senior players, and he's probably broken a wrist has held him out, but his form last week was really good. So that's how we regard him. We think he could easily come in and play, and if we did lose someone overnight with an illness or something like that, he'd be a logical replacement.
In view of what we saw last week, particularly with Dargan, how do you handle the emergencies? Or what do you expect from them?
Oh, we expect them to prepare like they're going to play, and that's exactly what they do. And they're around the team, they're at the team meetings, they're at team training today. They'll do all the things that the team would do, and the only thing that changes for them is that they perhaps don't put their gear on tomorrow night when the players are getting ready.
If it was weather, what would that tempt you to do?
Oh no, not too much. I think it's just something that we have to be mindful of, and depending on what Geelong side looks like, because I haven't seen their side, and we know that they're talking about Hawkins, West, those sorts of players. We've just got to be mindful of what they pick, but we also got to make sure we pick our best side.
Your teams talk like as if they don't fear Geelong anymore, that they've got over that phobia. Do you sense it yourself?
I would look. We certainly don't fear any side in the competition because we know our best football is good enough, but we've got to be able to do that consistently. Now, we did it last week really well, but we do regard Geelong as one of the premier teams in the competition clearly, and they're a great side, and we know how they react at the back of a loss. So we know that we're going to be at our absolute best to be in this contest.
Does it feel like anything's changed since the win against Collingwood? Obviously, not many people thought you could win that one, but it sort of feels like around the place that you could win now against Geelong?
I sort of nearly took it the other way. I think everyone tends to think that we're probably less likely to win again this week, but that doesn't worry us. I mean, that's perception. We know that, as I said, if our best football's there and we can apply pressure defensively, that we'll give ourselves a chance, and we don't shy away from the fact that we're playing a great side.
So many players had their first taste of finals last week. What does a big win like that do for psychology?
Clearly, it's great for your confidence, and confidence is a really important thing in this football level. That the teams are pretty close, and it just does take a little bit of 1 or 2% here and there that can help. We certainly go in with some confidence that we've been to the G, we've been in a final, and we've played pretty well. So that gives us some real confidence.
Just at training yesterday, mate, there was a few blokes being managed. Is it just at that time of year now where you're just trying to nurse blokes through to the finish line?
Yeah, well, that's what we've been doing probably for the last 6 or 8 weeks. Always, if you've been there for the last 6 or 8 weeks, you would have seen Bobby do similar sorts of things, and Chad's been doing similar things. Tommy Logan, those sort of blokes, they're all in a management phase, and we know right now that 25 minutes of a training session is not going to make a difference to their performance. It's just a matter of keeping them fresh and ready to go.
I know you've got another smorgasbord of Geelong players you've got to deal with.
Yeah.
Who's Kasisi's best option, like you had him with Pendlebury last week?
Oh, look, it's, as you said, there's a smorgasbord. We put him on Motlop at some stage last time. We could put him on Selwood, who kicked 4 goals against. We know Johnson's got us both times that we've played him this year, and they're great players. Mackie's a good player down back. There's just an enormous amount of players in their side that we could apply Dom to, or Kane to, or Andrew Moore to, someone like that. So it's just a matter of making sure we get what we think's the right matchup. Clearly, I'm not going to say exactly what that is, but we're going to try and make sure we maximise the benefit that we get from those players.
I'm interested. Do you prefer Dom as the shutdown and Kane to be more getting the ball now?
No, that changes week to week, to be honest. There's players that I think really suit the way Kane does the shutdown, and there's players that Dom seems to do it differently than Kane. So I think it's just a matter of what type of player we're going to play against, and we've been able to get Kane to do some amazing jobs this year on those roles, and Dom's come in and been able to do the same thing. So it really is the type of player we picked him for.
You're the fourth quarter kings, obviously, but you've dropped 9 straight third quarters. How much of an issue is that?
Yeah, we'd like to win third quarters as well. As I said, we need to be a 4-quarter team. I think last week, I'm not quite sure what the score was, to be honest, but it was a much better performance. Yeah, much better performance. And I thought the way we weathered, the important thing about probably the previous 8 third quarters is that we haven't been able to stop it. And last week I thought we controlled the surge pretty well, and we hung tough, and when we got our chance at the back end of the third quarter, we were able to score again. So, this game's pretty tough, so you're going to lose some and you're going to win some quarters, but importantly for us, we held in when we needed to, and yes, we're extremely confident about our fourth quarters, that when we get there at 3-quarter time, we believe in our run.
And if you had to make a sales pitch to tell me why you could break a 9-game losing streak, what would you sell me?
I'd probably just say that there's been plenty of opportunities this year that we've proven that those things don't probably bother us too much, and they are history. We've got to go about creating the future, and that's hopefully going to start tomorrow night for us.
I know this isn't a huge priority for you right this minute, but Jared Polex declared he wants to come home from Brisbane. The Crows have put their hand up. Obviously, you guys would be keen, I'm sure. Can you just give us your take on that scenario?
Clearly a player that's been picked that high in the draft, got an unbelievable amount of talent, that Port Adelaide Football Club would be incredibly interested in him as a player, and if we could possibly convince him to come and play at our football club next year, we'd look forward to doing that.
Once again, I know it's not high on your agenda at the moment, but are you confident you can snare him?
No, I haven't had any time to think about him, to be honest. I read the comments yesterday from Sando, and we'd be like them. We'd be very keen to have a player that's from Adelaide come and play with our football club coming back home of his quality.
How do you turn a ruck advantage into a clearance advantage? Because they don't always correlate.
No, they don't. No, and we understand that, but it's the ruck's one part of the clearance, and the ground level players have got to make sure they get their positions right too, and take the advantage of that. But you've got to be prepared to change things up a little bit and make sure that, when you get a dominant ruckman, sometimes they can become too predictable. And last time we played the Cats, I think Lobes dominated the hit-outs. I think they kicked 6 centre bounce goals. So that goes to show that they had certainly some good stuff done on the ground level. So
does that mean you'll go Trengove and Westhoff more in there rather than just always rely on?
No. I like Lobe in. There's no problems with. Okay. It's just a matter of making sure that we're prepared to change what we're doing in there at times, and don't let them get a real read on what we're doing.
How did the players handle?
How did
they handle the win last week? Did you have to sort of bring them down to earth at any stage? Or?
Not at all. I've got to say they were incredibly excited at the end of the game last week, and so they should have been. That's something that I embrace them to be, excited about the win. But then they've got to this week. We've been lucky. We've reinforced messages all year that we just have to train well. We have to turn up Monday and prepare well, and we've done that. And they trained really well again this week, so they're going into this week pretty confident.
So you sense that they want more? They're not just happy making a semi-final?
Yeah, any footballer you talk to at this time of the year, they want more. It's the greatest time of the year to be involved, and for people to say we have nothing to lose, we have plenty to lose. We want to keep playing, and the team want to keep playing, and the boys are really committed to trying to do the best to make sure that happens.
Do you sense the Cats are vulnerable?
Nah, look, it's a really dangerous thing to think. Look, they finished second, and I've always been one that looks at it and says that the top 4 finished top 4 for a reason, and they deserved that ranking. And yes, they got beat by a great side last week, but I absolutely know what they'll come out and deliver tomorrow night, and that'll be a fierce contest for us. And if we're not up for the contest, we'll find ourselves in trouble really quick.
Fremantle show you anything that you could?
Fremantle's defensive pressure is amazing, and I've said from the time we played them over there a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks ago, that I've not witnessed a side being able to apply the defensive press as well as Freo do, and that's a credit to Ross. So we've got to be able to get somewhere near that, but that's not something you're going to do overnight.
Have you worked out how to reduce inside 50s against you?
Well, over the course of the season, we've been very good. So we've only averaged, I think, on average about 47 a week, which would put us.
Last week.
Yeah, last week definitely was. No doubt about that. But as I said, if you read consistency, our consistency says that we don't give up 58 or whatever it was last week. We're probably high 40s, early 50s will go against them. But you're playing finals football, it does become a bit tougher.
It's the stars, Ken. I mean, both games this year they've jumped in the first quarter and sort of that's been the winning margin. How do you cope with that?
Yeah, it's really important for us that we perform really well at the start of the game and that we make it a contest as best we possibly can. But we can't go away from what we do, and what we do is, we can play some really defensive football and then attack hard off it. And if we're able to do that at Geelong early, we can't go there frightened of their starts. And that's something we've never done this year as a footy club. We haven't gone in there scared of what sides can do. We've gone in there with a plan, and if you're prepared to follow it, we think we can come out of that part of the game in a healthy position and then keep pushing on from there.
How much better is it at G rather than Cardinia Park?
Yeah, well, they don't. Last week they did lose there, but they don't very often lose down there. So, look, any chance, it's more about us, I think, not where Geelong are playing. For us to play at the MCG in a final, any chance we get that, we look forward to it.
The other big issue's gone now, the reserves issue. Are you happy with what you've got now?
Look, in brief, I've been pretty busy, so I haven't had much time to look at it, but I'm happy with the opportunity that we'll have everyone in the Port Adelaide community together and playing the football for Port Adelaide, and I'm excited by that. Now, all the other stuff, I haven't even had a chance to look at how that's all broken down, so all I know is right now I think that the club's done everything it possibly could to protect our community the best we could, and the outcome from all things being reported for me is the sample have supported it, and we're really grateful that they have done that and allowed us to keep some of our community stuff together, and we look forward to making sure that continues to grow.
Can you measure competitive advantage from it?
Can we?
Can you measure what competitive advantage you're going to get?
Oh no, I can't. But I just know that the sides that have had their own development sides, and our Magpies team is going to be helping us develop our players to get them best ready to play AFL football. But we also want to make sure our Magpies team's a really strong sample side.
Just a quick one.
Last one.
Supporter group said they've sold all bus tickets, all that over there. How much do you notice that sort of intersection?
It was amazing last week. I don't know whether many of you were there, but the noise of the Port Adelaide faithful was amazing. And towards the end of the game, clearly they really were really loud, and it was really proud, I reckon, from my point of view. And I made a point of walking down and just giving them a thank you. I thought to support your team like they do. Port Adelaide people do it as good as any supporters in the competition. We love them for it.
South Sydney or Storm?
Storm.